Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't already know, my name's Joe and I've been diagnosed with ADHD around 6 months now. And I'm using this channel just to document my journey specifically with medication, but also talk about a lot of other stuff to do with business, fitness. I'm a firm believer in everyone with ADHD should work out or should do something that, like gives them that dopamine release. And also, I'm on this journey to start my own business and work on my own terms. But today's video is going to be about focus and what I've learned from taking ADHD medication. So I've been taking 50 meg of Elvance, which is the same as Vyvanse, I believe. And the first 5 or 6 days, I'm sure you see my videos, the first few days, I was all over the place. Not really bad, but all good, but I felt a bit overstimulated. Probably about day 10 onwards, I really got this focus, this crazy focus. Now, it had me thinking, was that how I was always supposed to focus my whole life? But the ADHD had made me a bit more scattered. I'm sure you've all been there where you're supposed to be doing one task and then you get sidetracked to do another, then you've got another. I actually had it today. I was at work and then I was trying to log something in my phone. I was trying to log some food that I've eaten because I track my food. And then I was looking at sheds on my iPad. I was just all over the place. To be honest with you, focus has not been the biggest thing that I wanted to get better at with ADHD medication. But what I did find is that 10-day to 1 month period, my focus was crazy. It was so good, really, really good. But, and it's a big but, what I have found, I think from month 1 to month 2, my focus dwindled. And that's got me questioning, is that because the medications wore off? Or is that because focus was never that wasn't my big thing that I needed to improve on? And I know some of you guys probably would be sat there that's your biggest struggle is your focus. Well, I wouldn't say that. I'm fairly successful in what I do. I'm pretty good at what I do at work. I've got time and energy to spend on other things outside of work, like I mentioned about online businesses that I try and start. So I have got the focus to do it, but it's more like that hyper focus, you're really, really interested in stuff. But with this focus journey, so I've been privately diagnosed. I'm sure you've heard me ramble on about that before. And I spoke to my doctor about this. And what he didn't want to do was up my dose. So from what I can gather, there's 3 doses. You can be on 30 meg, 50 meg or 70 meg. But what he said to me was 70 meg is the ceiling. Because if you go to 70, you've got nowhere else to go. So if we put you on 70 now, and what you're going to do if you need a bit of a bump down the line. I'm presuming, he didn't tell me this, but I'm presuming it does wear off after a while and you sort of need to increase after a certain time. Which left me a bit deflated when he said that, because I sort of had in my head that I was going to explain this to my doctor and he was going to up my dose and then we was going to work with it. But what he did do, and unfortunately I haven't got the tablets with me, they're in my car, but he gave me some sort of shorter acting ADHD medication, and I had a look at the the ingredients. It's dexamphetamine, which is exactly the same as Elvance, but it's a faster acting one. So whereas Elvance is more slow releasing, comes out throughout the day, this one's more of a you take it and you'll feel the effects for the next few hours. And I've took it, and to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm chasing this high of where my focus was. That first month, because I did feel a crazy amount of focus. It was just so good, but it's not getting me back there. Now I probably am going to have to speak to my doctor again and see what we do. But like I said, it's a catch-22 for me because the focus isn't really what I'm chasing. Although now I've had a bit of a taste of it, I'm thinking, it would be nice to be that focused because I was very, very switched on with it. But it'd be interesting to hear because I've heard all sorts of different stories of other people with ADHD. Some people, the focus is their main driver. And for me, it really isn't. And I don't know if I'm an anomaly in that. it's funny because you often see a lot of really successful people with ADHD, and some of those are not medicated. So maybe we've all got the focus, but we're a bit scattered with it. And over time, because we've lived with this our whole lives, we've just got better and better. So it's a bit of a conundrum for me. But like I said, I think because I've had a bit of a taste of that really, really good focus, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I'm kind of like in two minds whether I should like try and take a bit more of my prescribed stuff on certain days. Just use it more of a tool for when I need to, really increase my focus, which is what that faster acting dexamphetamine is supposed to do as well. I'm just not quite getting there with it though. It's not quite giving me the same drive that I had before, which is a bit strange. But yeah, long and short of it is, I think if you've had the same experience as me, then talk to your doctor. You've got options. One of them would be increase the dose, which my doctor didn't want to go down. Not because he's totally ruling it out, but he just didn't want to give me that sort of ceiling dose when I think his thought process was, the reason I came to him was more, you've heard me talk about this before, I'm sure, but social cues, just acting coolly in situations rather than a bit irrationally, particularly in like a family environment. Not that I'm surrounded by like argumentative people, but I sort of struggle in those more difficult conversations that are everyday conversations, but I sort of like, I don't know whether a bit of it's the defensiveness, which a lot of people with ADHD have, or it's because like your brain's going mental and you just sort of like, you can't deal with all of those thoughts and stuff that's going on in the moment. And the ADHD meds on the prescribed dose that I'm on now are giving me sort of a bit of relief from that and making me better. So he's probably thinking like that. But for me, like I said, I sort of like thinking, well, if I can be this hyper-focused person, not just for hyper-focus on things I want to focus on, but for everything, then that would be a great thing to have. But I suppose at the same time, it all comes with this cost-reward, doesn't it? A risk-reward, should I say. So if you put in more dexamphetamine or Elvance, Vyvanse, whatever it is you're taking into your body, it comes with a bit of a health risk at some point. So it's all a game of risk reward, isn't it? But yeah, I just really wanted to talk about focus for this this video, should I call it? And yeah, just let you know what I've experienced, what I said to my doctor, and his outcome. And like I said, there really is two things you could do there. You could either increase your dose, or he could give you like a faster acting form of the same medication to use in times when you need it. And just for some context, I think he gave me 5 tablets or 6 tablets, and I've still got one left, and this was about 6 weeks ago. So I haven't really tried them that hard either. Maybe I could do with taking them at certain times. What I have done is times when I felt particularly run down and tired, I've used them. I don't know whether you get those like afternoon crashes. And before medication, I always used to get those where I'd crash quite a lot in the afternoon. And I found, I can't think when it was a Saturday a few weeks ago, I was like feeling quite lethargic, and I actually had something that I had to be quite productive. So I did take one then, and it really did help me out. So maybe it's not just for the focus, if you're finding that you go a bit low on energy, you can also use this sort of like fast acting, short, sharp burst just to get you back on track. And it did keep me back on track for the rest of the day, actually, now I come to think of it. But yeah, just wanted to talk a little bit about focus, what I've experienced, what we've gone through with my doctor. And please do like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that good YouTube stuff. But really do put some comments down below. Tell me your experience, and something that's like kept me going with these videos, actually, although I've not got a big following at all, is there's quite a few of you that are actually engaged, that you're actually asking questions, you're actually asking where I am, if I'm still taking medication, which is good, because that's the reason I started this, because having ADHD can be quite lonely. You explain it to people and they're like, oh yeah, anyone can have that, or it's just so unrelatable to people who haven't got it. So please do like, comment, share, subscribe, put anything down below, and I'll see you in the next one.